I just wanted to share a quick video today discussing why SMA, or spinal muscular atrophy, affects everybody differently. My name is Justin Folks, and my wife and I have two children with spinal muscular atrophy, and they live very distinct, very different lives, but the condition is affecting them relatively in the same way. And so we wanted to discuss today just some of the differences that they are experiencing and some of the differences that other parents have seen with their children relative to how SMA is affecting their body. SMA, spinal muscular atrophy, affects the body, affects the muscles from a neurological standpoint. I want to discuss upper and lower motor neurons relative to their bodies. Upper motor neurons are the motor neurons within the cerebral area, the eyes seemingly being their own system, and then lower motor neurons are everything below the spinal column, below and including the spinal column, the functions of the rest of their body muscularly from a neurological standpoint. The SMA directly affects and impacts those lower motor neurons, and thus we see that these kids that have SMA, or even the adults, a lot of what is a visible effect to their body is taking place in how their muscles just don't work, or don't work very well below their head, the entirety of their body. So I like to compare muscles and the muscle fibers to like the wires in your house, or a bundle of electrical wire. Here we have two bundles of just a 14 cable wire. The SMA, as it's affecting their body, and it affects everybody's body differently, will go through and will create an imbalance. It will shut off different portions of their muscles as it is targeting their bodies and is affecting their bodies. And this shutdown is what the A is in SMA. It's the atrophy. It's not that the muscles themselves aren't working, it's that the muscles aren't receiving the input from the brain. And the body is a very good self-preserving mechanism. It will turn off muscles to preserve and to encourage life function. If somebody hurts themselves, if they strain a muscle, pull a muscle, exercise too hard, tear a muscle, their body will go in and it will shut it off so that it can heal and so that it won't cause further damage. The detriment, the downside for kids that have SMA is when these muscles get shut off, there's not really that connection in there to tell the body that they're healed or that they can turn back on, because oftentimes the muscle wasn't shut off by strain, it was shut off by lack of connection to the brain. And here we see sometimes you'll have a variety of muscle fibers receiving different signals. On one side you have a fiber that's been half shut off. On the other side you have a fiber that's only been shut off in 3 random places throughout the entire bundle, but that creates an imbalance. And this imbalance is seen by the body as damage. And so the entire muscle is now shut down, or is rendered mostly inert, because the body sees that it's not functioning properly and is allowing it to heal. Now, a lot of times when these kids are early affected by the SMA, we'll see a drastic downturn in their muscle function before it starts to plateau back out. And the body, again, is trying to preserve itself. As these muscles are losing their function very drastically and very quickly, the body's going through and preserving the life support systems, the organs, the heart, the lungs, as much as possible, by diverting as much energy as it can to those as it's seeing that the muscles aren't working well. And so a lot of times these kids, in a matter of well, for our kids specifically because they have type 1, in a matter of days and weeks, they go from relatively a normal healthy baby to almost completely immobile, completely bedridden, and no function at all. And it's not that their muscles can't do anything, it's that their body has seen that there's this imbalance and has decided to shut them off. And the longer that these muscles remain shut off, the longer that these muscles remain turned off, that is when atrophy begins to take place, when unfortunately for them it was unnecessary for these muscles to die. It wasn't that they were broken, it was that they weren't plugged in. And in another video we will try to explain different forms, different options the parents can have for activating or reactivating these muscles through input and through rotational and movement principles and techniques that can basically inform the body inform their body that these muscles are still functioning and are functioning properly, and allow them to be able to use them again to a fuller potential, thus allowing your child's body or your patient's body, your client's body, whoever you're working with, whoever you're seeing, allowing their body to be able to maximize the muscle that they still have a neurological connection to.